where sports meets that thing called life. And always happy to be here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You know that we took off Labor Day because, well, I work very, very hard and I never took holidays off before. So I took off Labor Day. Hopefully you did too. For those of you that are working hard and earning those paychecks, I hope you had a break yesterday and I hope you spent it wisely. And make sure that not only on holidays, but all throughout the year, you spend some time with yourself, with God, with your family, your friends. Just get out there, do something, jump in the canoe, go on the beach, take a walk, take a ride. For, my case, I went to the fair yesterday and enjoyed the fair. I had a lobster roll and a gyro back to back, and I'm totally fine this morning. So shout out to the strength of an Italian Hispanic stomach. So I'm very happy for that. With that being said, we got plenty coming up on this edition of Wake Up Call. It's going to be split up into pieces a little bit this morning because we have two exclusive specials coming up with the Bobcats. So inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, we have a plethora of guests that are going to be on the show today in Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. We'll start off the show in the first hour, joined by Charley Loeb, quarterback alum of Syracuse, following their victory and honoring Devontae McFarland. We'll do the same with Michael Lasker Jr., offensive line alum, celebrating that 31-7 victory over Louisville to start the season in the ACC and overall and at home. So we'll talk with Michael about that and honor Devontae as well. We'll give you an early edition of the Ingredients to Success, proudly presented by Avicoli's. And then in hour number 2 at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, airing as its own exclusive special, I will be with the Bobcats team, women's soccer team, reigning national champion 2021 team, the Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse Bobcats, will be joining me in a roundtable discussion featuring four of their players. We have Carrie Welsh as well as Gabby Cordero, Jessica Shepard, and Haley Elsey joining me. And then at 10:30, another exclusive special with the Bryan and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse, right there on James Street in Syracuse, New York, for their men's national championship team. That is a back-to-back national champion here for our community of Syracuse, New York. I'll be joined by head coach Nick Dimitrievsky, as well as their representatives on the student-athlete side, Felipe Pampalim, as well as Giovanni Galina and Sean Altador. So a lot of great stuff coming up this morning on Wake Up Call, and this hour is here all cued out for the Syracuse Orange. So with that being said, let's bring in my first guest, Mr. Charley Loeb. Charley, how you doing today?
Good. How are you doing, Dan?
I'm doing well, man, and I want to jump right into it, the quarterback side of things, since you and I have addressed a lot of things. I do want to let you know something, too, that's crazy about YouTube and Facebook, is that normally when you and I talk, I put up B-roll of the quarterbacks we're talking about, so as you're breaking them down, we're showing that. Well, I had to fight with YouTube that showing B-roll of a quarterback that you're discussing in the moment with a disclaimer that it's not our video, they still flagged me and said that it was spam content. I fought it twice, and they gave me a warning that it's considered spam to talk about a quarterback while you're showing them. So it's good to know that YouTube's fighting the good fight out there, I guess.
Yeah. Keeping the guard up, I guess. Good for them.
So happy to have you here, and happy to talk about Garrett Trader to start things off. What's your assessment of him through game one?
Well, I was really fired up. I got to watch the whole game. I work with guys in season, and Saturdays get busy sometimes, but night game, getting to watch the opener, I was super impressed by what Garrett did, what the entire Syracuse team did. I mean, he talked all the time. Quarterback is my opinion, I think most people's opinion, going to be the most important position on the field, but he's not the only guy out there for the offense in particular, too, and I think he did an incredible job. I think the offense, top to bottom, did a really good job. It was great to see the ball moving as much as it did. It looked like they were being, I don't want to say creative, but they were changing things up for sure, and still using some tempo at times. And you saw that with some of the penalties. They had some struggles, but I thought they did a great job overall. Really, really good.
Yeah, and that's something, when you look at quarterback position or any position, self-induced pain there with penalties and whatnot, those those self-inflicted wounds. What can you say to that respect? I mean, Syracuse, I believe it was somewhere around 100 negative yards in penalties, just and a bunch of false starts, and some of them back to back. Just what your take was on that?
Yeah, I think penalties are, you hate seeing as a coach, as a player, operational penalties where you're looking at, procedural pre-snap issues. I mean, that's always termed, just the least desirable of the penalty types. I mean, it's not a guy playing too aggressive or playing through the whistle. It's, you feel like it's a shot in the foot in many ways. I think I like so much of what they did, though, in penalties. Honestly, I wouldn't be too concerned about them and saying this is an undisciplined team, or that this is a team that, it has a difficult time focusing in on critical situations. I don't think that at all. I think it was just a team that was trying to play fast, trying to play aggressive in the first game of a new system. So, the more players can go out there, play fast, not think, the better they're going to be. And that's what they tried to do. And, I mean, imagine trying to speak, a new language super fast for the first time you ever learned. Tried to do. And make all sorts of mistakes. Imagine trying to speak, at least they weren't being a new language super fast. They were being cautious. Like, they were throwing it to the wind and really saying, hey, let's go do what we think we can do.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that too, right? Learning the new offense, wanting to get out there. I mean, there was one penalty that was called saying that they had too many men in the backfield and whatnot. So, I mean, you could tell that this team was trying to get it done and trying to figure things out in a positive way. And, this is the first game that we're seeing with Robert and I being the offensive coordinator, and then obviously Coach Beck being the quarterback coach. And when they came in, I mean, did you do any research, Charlie, when you saw that these two gentlemen were coming on to the team, Coach and I and Coach Beck, coming from Virginia? And granted, Virginia hasn't been in the limelight in, overall in the eye of the national stage, because they haven't, won a ton of games overall. But they did have these two coaches that I believe led Virginia to, I think it was like the second best offense in the country last year. So what's your take on the fact that, we have both of these coaches coming in when Bronco Mendenhall decided to step away?
Well, they both came from UVA. It's kind of a package deal, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, the fact that I think I know Bryce Perkins was a former player of theirs, right, over at UVA.
Yeah.
They had another quarterback that was very successful, and then I've actually seen that. I think it's Brennan Armstrong. Is that the quarterback there now?
Yeah, Brennan's the one that's still there. He had I think last year he had, I think it was right around 4,000 or over 4,000 yards, 4,400, and he had, I think, close to 40 touchdowns.
So I saw, and I got to see him at Manning Passing Academy this year, and he was a really good player. And I think quarterback position, and offensively, to be able to do what they did with a few guys already creating, that type of success and bringing it here. I can't say I watched a ton of UVA games, but just knowing what it takes to be successful, that's a great looking resume. And I knew about that coming in. I was excited about it. And, they had all the talk about what they had done with mobile quarterbacks as well. And, you definitely saw that on display Saturday night with Schrader. So, no, I was super excited, and I think maybe just as exciting is the fact that you had a successful duo at the OC and quarterback position, which, quarterback's coach. And then this is even better almost, because you have both these guys on the same page for so many years now. If you have an OC that's brand new working with a quarterback's coach, I mean, there's, so much of the quarterback is decision making and trigger pulling, and the quarterback coach is like, do you keep him from going into that world whatsoever, or do you tell him to just be a technician and a recruiter, a mechanic and a recruiter? That's tough. So I think they did it right in keeping a duo together, because they have a trust factor from the OC to the QB coach to the quarterback now, and that's a great, chain of command there.
Yeah, and I definitely think, I mean, when you get those package deals, we've seen it before with Doug Marrone, former Syracuse coach, going down to Jacksonville with Nate Hackett as his offensive coordinator, is how they shifted that, but also a quarterback coach in that sense too for Nate Hackett. So we did get to see kind of that right-hand man follow through with something like that in the past, and and that was successful, and obviously that led to some really good things for Nate Hackett, who's now the head coach of the Denver Broncos. So big time shout out to him, and much love to Nate Hackett, a good friend. So, I mean, Charlie, when you look at this team, speaking here with Charley Loeb, Syracuse Orange quarterback, alum, and you look at Garrett Schrader, he ended the game 72% completion percentage. I love how people focus on the completion percentage, and then if the completion percentage is good, then they go, well, it was a short pass. Well, it was, I mean, there's always a way for somebody to try and complain about how a quarterback didn't do everything that they could do. I mean, it was the same thing with Tommy DeVito, former Syracuse guy, won his first game at Illinois, and they're like, yeah, Dan, he did good, but they were dink and dunk passes. And I remind people all the time that Tom Brady made his hay throwing 2-yard passes to James White and to Wes Welker and to all these guys out there that, Julian Edelman, that would go and get yards after completion. And there was one time a few seasons ago where you're looking at guys having over almost 700 yards after completion. They go to Brady, but it's because of what they did in the system afterward. So I'm not trying to say that any of these guys are Tom Brady. I'm trying to say that as a quarterback, if you're moving the ball down the field, who the heck cares how you do it? And that's one of my frustrations, because I know I'm going to say to people, Garrett Schrader went 72%, and I know some idiot's going to say to me, yeah, well, Dan, he threw a screen pass, and then he did this, and I'm like, yeah, and they scored, and they won 31-7. So as a quarterback, I would love for you to give me your thoughts on his 72% completion day, and how you respond to people that go, yeah, it's 72%, but he didn't throw an 80-yard pass.
Yeah, I think the big critique of somebody saying he's the dink and dunk offense, he's, used to hear check down Charlie sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But, the critique of that is the fact that if you're not pushing the ball downfield when it comes to a critical situation, 3rd and 12, whatever it is, 3rd and long, must get in the red zone, these difficult situations, you're going to have a hard time being effective and converting. That's the feedback. So great, you're piling up good stats on 1st and maybe 2nd down, but when it comes crunch time and we need this guy to make plays, he's not going to be able to do it. So that's got to be the only logical kind of argument against, what you're saying, being effective in the shorter passing game. I think really what you got to do is, I don't really want to look and key in on the difficulty or length of a pass evaluating quarterback play. I want to key in and look at how effective is a quarterback in those critical situations. How effective was he on 3rd down? How effective was he in the red zone? We look at how a quarterback performs in these situations. That's a better indicator of evaluating quarterback play than how difficult was his pass. Give me a boneheaded quarterback with a real strong arm. Well, he's not going to go through his progressions. He's going to try to make a lot of very difficult downfield passes, and that's a terrible way to say that he's a super successful player. Whereas a guy maybe better going through his progressions, finds easier passes, shorter, easier, completions. All right, well, West Coast, Drew Brees, we've seen this time and time again, great quarterbacks being successful in that system. So, again, I don't think it's the difficulty or length of pass, but evaluate quarterbacks on how good are they in critical situations. And I think Schrader did incredible in those situations, and I think you need to look at it that way.
Yeah, and to go off your note here, speaking with Charley Loeb, Syracuse Orange quarterback, alum, coming on the heels of Syracuse's 31-7 victory to start off the 2022 campaign here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Schrader and the team were 6 for 11 on third down in this game.
Yep. So, I mean, where would that put them in third down conversion? In the NCAA last year, I would guess very, very high. I think if you look at teams converting on third downs, look at the list of teams in third down conversion rate last year. Dan, I don't know. I don't have it in front of me, but I'm going to guess you're going to be looking at the most successful teams in the country. Yeah, I mean,
listen, anything. When I look at third down, I'm like, okay, were they 30+%? Did they get to 40%? In the case in Syracuse in this game, over 50% effective on third down speaks volumes to you, and that, I mean, that's a huge piece of it. And then you look at red zone, and you talked about the red zone scores and chances. Syracuse in this game in the red zone, 4 for 4
for touchdown efficiency, or was it scoring?
It was red zone scores and chances, because I think there was a field goal within, so they're 4 for 4 overall.
So, and 75% touchdown percentage is really, really good.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, 100% and 75% touchdown and over 50% third down. Damn, they'll win every game this year.
Yeah. And the thing that's crazy, too, is the time of possession wasn't really that far off at a certain point. Syracuse had like 28 minutes and 27 minutes to Louisville. It ended up being 32 minutes and 31 seconds to Syracuse, 27-29 to Louisville. But you look at this, they didn't miss an extra point. They were 4 for 4 in the red zone, like we said, 6 for 11 on third down. I mean, these numbers, like you said, if you carry those numbers all season long, if you're 100% effective in the red zone, if you're better than 50% on third down, then you're going to win the majority of your games. And again, this wasn't against a slouch. This wasn't against a team that this wasn't. I mean, if somebody looked at these and said, okay, Dan, was this against, and this is no disrespect to these teams, these are just the teams Syracuse should beat on paper, and most teams do. This wasn't a Syracuse versus Citadel, Syracuse versus Albany, Syracuse versus Wagner, versus Villanova. This was the Orange versus Louisville, who's defeated them in all 3 other times that Scott Satterfield has coached against Dino Babers in this conference. So to do this, to get this victory, and to do it as commandingly as they did against a running quarterback in Malik Cunningham that they forced to turn the ball over 3 straight times in the second half, almost 4 if the offensive lineman didn't recover that fumble that Malik had. I mean, you look at this, Malik fumbled twice, one of them recovered by Syracuse, back-to-back interceptions, and mind you, I'm going to take a little bit of credit for this. I put out at halftime, I said, worth noting, neither team has turned the ball over. After I said that, Louisville turned the ball over 3 times in a row.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, so did Syracuse have an offensive turnover?
Syracuse did not commit a turnover. I want to take a look at everything. No, Garrett Schrader did not throw an interception. Malik had 2, and Syracuse did not fumble. The only thing that I was going back and looking at here is, did Syracuse fumble the ball? And they did not. So they not only did they not lose a fumble, they did not fumble. They did not, and obviously there was no fumble recovery because of that, and on top of that, no interception. So Syracuse did not turn the ball over, having the ball for over 32 minutes in the game.
So, I mean, you put together situational football, scoring opportunities, conversions on third down. You put together smart quarterback and offensive play, not putting the ball on the ground, not throwing interceptions. And then, I mean, that is such a good start. That's such a promising start. And then, the people are going to look at the penalties, right? And penalties, to me, those procedural penalties in particular, it's not, you're not thinking about lining up and not moving, pre-snap, and you're not thinking about a lot of these things. It's so much of it's just a result of training. It's like taking your dog to training, It's not high-level thinking stuff, but it's the result of repetition and discipline. And, It just takes time sometimes to develop those things, and I think that's about as impressive an offensive display week one that I've seen an offense put together in a while.
Yeah, and then you talk about not putting the ball on the ground. They ran the ball 40 times and still did not put that ball on the ground at all. And there was a little bit more of a showcase of a balance here, which, they talked to me about going into the season. And that is the fact that Syracuse had a bunch of first downs here, and 13 of those were rushing, and 9 of them were passing. One of them was miscellaneous, so they had 23. But, you look at 13 rushing and 9 passing, so there were these moments where they did what they needed to do. And shout out to the backup quarterback, Carlos Del Rio Wilson, came in for his first ever snap at Syracuse, transferring from Florida, and threw a pass right down the middle to Sean Tucker and helped guide the offense forward. So, there's some good stuff there. LaQuint Allen, the true freshman running back, he came in and did some things for Syracuse, ran the clock out in the first half, ran the clock out in the second half, so the ball was in his hands at the end of both halves to silence Louisville and then to silence Louisville for good and end the game and put the nail in the coffin. So, the freshmen stepped up. It wasn't just Schrader and Sean Tucker. There was some moves being made. There was a bunch of history made in this game. Aronde Gadsden, the second, who was moved to tight end at 6'5", he caught a wide open touchdown when everybody cheated to Sean Tucker, thinking he was going to get the ball out of the backfield when he moved in motion. So, Aronde Gadsden gets his first ever touchdown collegiately. Derek McDonald, linebacker that had to step in with Stephon Thompson going out, who was part of the two deep. He came in as a freshman last year, caught his first interception this year. I spoke to him after the game and said, getting your first career collegiate interception, I said, you look like a tight end. And he said it feels like old days because in high school, when he played two ways, he played tight end. So it was really cool to see that not only did the team do well, but we got to see historic first touchdowns, historic first touches for Carlos Del Rio Wilson and LaQuint Allen, and a historic interception for Derek McDonald. So this team as a whole did a lot of good things, and defensively did not allow Malik Cunningham to get into the end zone himself, nor did they allow Malik Cunningham to throw the ball into the end zone. And mind you, Malik Cunningham ended last season just shy of 4,000 all-purpose yards and 39 touchdowns.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of Cuse fans and take that game one, and I think a lot of the Cuse staff would as well. It doesn't. I think you'd be happy with their performance and not have it be something that says we're no longer motivated. We're fat and happy and content. I think a lot of the attitude of people these days, they're fat and happy celebrating that week one win. It's like, no, you can celebrate good things and still be motivated and hungry to go tackle the next thing. So I think you got to be proud of that week one and then say, hey, let's be even better week two. Not, I don't think you have to tear yourself down and say, oh, we were terrible and penalties terrible and this, terrible and that. And, it's like, man, don't tear yourself down. Build yourself up and build yourself bigger.
Well, and that's the thing. It's called life. Charley Loeb just described life here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal Studios. You're supposed to celebrate your moment and also look forward to the next one. I'm the type of person where I'm always going on to the next thing and working my butt off and trying, and it's caused a lot of success to say, keep going, Dan, keep pushing, keep getting after it. But I'm also the person now that will take a step back and say, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this. I'm going to enjoy this conversation with Charley. I'm not going to enjoy it, 3 months from now when I'm doing, I want to enjoy it in the moment. I want to have fun in the moment. I want to live in the moment. So this team has every right. And Dino said it. He said, I hope Marshall Street's still open when the game gets out because the guys deserve it. So enjoy. And I went to Insomnia Cookies with my guy Isaac Elford, and we got some cookies, and I bumped into Justin Knight, who's a phenom in the world of track and field at Syracuse. Shout out to Justin Knight, somebody who has gone to the Olympics and represented the Cuse well, and he was there with his family and friends who just so happened to be from Toronto, and I'm a Toronto Raptors fan. So after the game, I got to spend a great amount of time talking about the Toronto Raptors with people that appreciate it. So that made my night. So Marshall Street was open for me to talk about Toronto. So I hope the guys enjoyed it. I hope they did it safely. But, you should. You should enjoy a victory. You should enjoy this time. Charlie, you know how quick the game comes and goes, that if you weren't out there enjoying your time at Syracuse, enjoying the moment, enjoying being on the field, I mean, look at a guy like Chris Bleich. He got back after 2.5 years going through injuries. I mean, look at Chris Elmore. The game's taken away in the first game. Stephon Thompson, game taken away in the first game. If you don't enjoy the moment while you have the moment, that might be the only moment that you get, and you know it better than anybody, that when your number gets called, you better dang well in that moment say, I'm happy and I'm proud and thankful to God that I'm standing on the field right now.
Yeah. It's like you said, it comes and goes fast. You got to enjoy it and enjoy it with the people around you, your teammates. In particular, I mean, those guys are, the better you can build those relationships and bonds, the better you're going to be able to perform on the field, and those bonds will stick with you forever. So, I think if they can get a couple guys, it seems like they got a couple guys that are great leaders too.
Yeah.
If these leaders can help bring along some of these new guys, some of these guys that don't know the way yet, they could do some really special things.
Final note here from you, Charlie, is we'll have you back during the season, of course, but would love to get your thoughts and just what you would like to say about the way too soon passing of Devontae McFarland, somebody who will always live on with me in my heart and in my soul as someone I always love to talk to, and a Syracuse brother for sure.
Yeah, it was one of those things where saying you create those relationships, and I was actually at a wedding, and the line of communication of guys starting to spread the word of former teammates of saying that Devontae had passed away. It started everybody's phone, former teammates and chat threads started to come alive and report the news to everybody. And, it was, as always, when you hear it, it was just so surreal. It didn't seem like this possibly could be true.
Yeah.
Like there must be some misunderstanding or disbelief, almost always. And, it was it's just so sad. And Devontae was quite younger than me. I think maybe 2 years I got to play with him, but he was such a positive guy, such a kind of a happy-go-lucky figure in the locker room, and physically so talented and gifted. And I think he had so much to offer the world, and I think what we can do best is remember him and spread to each other, what we thought of him and the good stuff that he brought the world, and hopefully we can live up to it.
Can't ask for better words than that. Spread the positive that he gave and live up to the positive that he's always been. And I speak in present tense because, Devontae, I know you're up in heaven looking over us right now, and I hope you know, brother, that we miss you. We're happy to know you, and we will do our best to make sure that nobody's light is dimmed, nor do people feel alone. So reach out to your friends, call them, text them, your family members, the people that you care about, your teachers, whoever it may be. Call them, text them, see them. Do not wait. Do not, be the person saying, I shoulda, woulda, coulda. That's not the type of guy that I ever like to be, and I don't think anybody would. So please be good to each other. And Devontae, we love you and we miss you. Charlie, as always, I appreciate you, and I look forward to having you back very, very soon. Love our quarterback conversation. Always love talking with you. And above all things, man, I am so grateful for the friendship that we have grown over these years. It really means a lot to me to hear your voice and have your positivity. You've always been good to me, and I just want to say thank you for that.
No, thanks for having me, Dan. Really enjoyed it, and looking forward to coming back again.
All right, man. Be good. I'll look forward to talking with you soon.
Awesome. Talk to you soon, Dan.
All right. Take care. See you, Charlie. So with that being said, Charley Loeb on the broadcast inside the Cafe Kubal studio is going to take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Michael Lasker will bring us through the rest of hour number 1 here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, talking Cuse football on the heels of a victory to start the 2022 campaign.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
Cafe Kubal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafekubal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Kubal needs. Cafe Kubal, coffee for the soul.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbeville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, hanging out with you where sports meets that thing called life. Cafe Kubal, 3501 James Street, 324 West Water Street, 401 South Salina Street, all in Syracuse, on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius in their double-decker cafe, and on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners in North Syracuse in their drive-thru. Make sure you head out there today. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you and fill your cup up right. With that being said, inside of hour one of our broadcast, coming back here after Labor Day, which I hope you all had a great long weekend. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory is what's poppin'. Speaking with the Syracuse Orange alumni, coming off of a big-time victory inside of the conference of the ACC and overall, and in front of the hometown crowd that was bopping inside of the Dome. I have not heard you fans get that loud since I went there with my dad many, many years ago. So I was more than happy to hear the fact that my ears started to get a little bit muffled, right? I started to not be able to hear clearly in the Dome, and I love that, and I want that to continue to be the case. So Charley Loeb joined us. Now Michael Lasker Jr. here with us, offensive line and alum of the Syracuse Orange. Mr. Lasker, always happy to have you on the show. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Dan. Again, glad to be back on the show.
Yeah, man, and happy to have you here. And Tyler Morona, you and I were talking about it off the air. Him and his wife came over, and you and your wife welcomed them into your house over the weekend to watch this game together. What was it like to have that? I know you have a good relationship and a good friendship, but to have teammates there watching this game, what was this double date like to watch? And I love Syracuse football double dates, by the way.
Oh yeah. No, it was great. It was great, because we get to kind of reminisce, about the good times we had, at Syracuse. But also, when we watch the game, we don't really necessarily watch it as, normal football fans. We still kind of have our player hats on / coaching hats on. So we're watching footsteps, we're watching, defensive assignments. I'm watching things from an offensive, coach, offensive line. So, it gets a little bit rowdy, and, our wives might get a little annoyed with this from the screaming and shouting, but overall, since it was a pretty good outcome, we kept that to a minimum. But yeah, it was it's always a good experience having Tyler around and his wife, Katie.
And having this experience, like you said, watching it and breaking it down and whatnot, to get right into the thick of things, and we see the return of Matt Bergeron at left tackle. Dino said after the game, just really good talent, top talent on the offensive line. Do you already see the NFL in Matt Bergeron?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you can see it. He's smooth. His footwork is really good. He obviously, he has the size to be in the NFL. And yeah, I believe he's, been starting since, midpoint of his freshman year. So, he has plenty of starts under his belt. But yeah, I can definitely see him, easily being, at least, no later than, third round draft pick at the absolute, latest. When he does decide to come out.
You talked about Michael, him being smooth. What is it about the mechanics of what you can see when you're watching the game and you're watching the left side of the line, that left tackle position for Matt Bergeron, the blind side for Garrett Trader? What are you seeing when you talk about smooth, maybe to get into that a little bit deeper, and if you can see any of the mechanics there on film for Matt Bergeron?
Yeah, just kind of diving more into that. His pass set, he doesn't panic. He's not opening up his hips. He has a good punch. Easy to, when the defensive end's coming inside, he can pound back inside. He has great weight distribution. Definitely, again, doesn't open the gate too fast, let the defender get up the field. Yeah, he just has really good technique. As an offensive lineman, I always think of, guys like Ty Smith in the NFL, Joe Thomas, Trent Williams. They just make things look so smooth and so easy, versus just, kicking back, panicking, and opening up the gate. And I really see a lot of that out of Matt. And I think he's a tremendous talent. He's going to definitely he'll be playing on Sundays.
We look at the rest of the line, speaking here with Syracuse Orange offensive line alum Michael Lasker Jr. on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Cafe Kubal studios, and taking a look at the fact that Kalen Ellis told me going into the season, and him and I had spoken his recruitment coming from Hawaii, that he told me through his time here at fall camp, he said, I do see myself getting out there on the offensive line. I said, where? He said left guard. And when that first depth chart came out, the the sophomore here on the team, he was put up as the starting left guard on the team. So Kalen Ellis there. Carlos Vettorello, who's played tackle and center, is back at center with Aaron Service moving on. Chris Bleich, who has spent 2.5 years having to deal with all types of stuff and injury, most recently here, is back on the field at right guard. And Dakota Davis has spent a lot of time on this team, bouncing around all over the place as the right tackle. What have you seen from the rest of the line, knowing that Bleich is back? Kalen is a new face there. Vettorello and Dakota Davis are, trying to, after having a lot of experience, figure out having a consistent role as center and right tackle, respectively.
Yeah, no, you can see them gelling, and that's always good. You can see that this is a unit that has been together for quite some time. You can tell, again, they really gelled during fall camp. They have that continuity together. They can trust one another. They know what everyone's doing. And again, Carlos sliding back inside to center after Service, moved on. Back to, I think, at his natural spot. And then Bleich, at the guard position. And then, Pat Davis, they've been around for so long, so they have the experience. It's all about just, gelling together, coming together as a unit. And again, I've also was really, really impressed with the left guard, and the kid from Hawaii. Again, very, very, very athletic for his size. Able to, be stout. Drive defenders off the ball. Get to the next level on screens. So yeah, he definitely has a great future with the Orange. And again, the offensive line, was really, really impressive. For me, and I definitely think, with a back like Sean Tucker, I mean, the sky's the limit for this offense this year.
And we got to bring it up when we talk about the offensive line. Self-induced blunders here, and 18 penalties for Syracuse, who lost more than the length of the field. I think the length of the field, 108. So they lost 107 yards in total with 18 penalties, multiple false starts, some of them back-to-back. So what can you say about that piece of it, that side of it for Syracuse? This isn't me trying to find a negative in a big-time win. This is just, speaking to an offensive lineman about penalties that happen to the offensive line. So what do you see there? And being an offensive lineman in history, how do you shore up those issues? And is that just a new offense and trying to get comfortable? What would you assess those 18 penalties to?
Yeah, I would say, a lot of it's just having, a first game. A lot of it could be a little bit of first game jitters, but a lot of it is just, a new offense. That's not, uncommon, considering the fact that, in college, they don't necessarily have the preseason games to get the cobwebs out. But I'm definitely, it's obviously, it was discouraging to see, back-to-back penalties. And, as an offensive lineman, obviously we have the advantage because we know the snap count, etc. But I will say to their defense, it is, the first game of the season. They necessarily haven't had that live, game time, action other than scrimmages and practice. But definitely, it's something that they will clean up. I'm sure Dino's going to definitely, address it in the film room. I remember against BC, we had my senior year against BC, we had a similar instances. And, we definitely paid for it that Sunday after the game. Because they want to get that cleaned up early because penalties like that will cost you, in a tight ball game against, better opponents throughout the year.
Yeah, and seeing those issues that, Syracuse has to shore up and whatnot, outside of that, weren't many issues. I spoke with Charley Loeb about it. The offense was 4 for 4 in the red zone, 100% in the red zone, 75% when it came to touchdowns. On top of all of that, we see the fact that Syracuse did not fumble the ball once, did not turn the ball over at all, and were 6 for 11 on third down. When I read you those stats as a former offensive lineman, what comes to your mind when you think about how Syracuse had their ushering in of the 2022 season, pardon me, to be better than 50% on third down, 100% in the red zone, and to not turn the ball over a single time, nor did they fumble the ball and have to recover it. They did not put the ball on the ground once.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, very efficient numbers. And it's encouraging to see, because it's a testament, of what Dino and the offensive staff has put together. Definitely put the guys in position to succeed, and have confidence. Again, definitely, they're not putting the ball on the ground, which is a huge plus. They're converting in the red zone, and I know that has been a struggle over the last few years. So it was good to see right out the gate in the first game they're being efficient, getting points on the board in the red zone, no sloppy turnovers, executing. And again, that's the biggest thing, just executing. Everyone, just focusing on their assignments. If everyone just does their part, more times than not, good things are going to happen.
Words of advice to the offensive line moving forward?
Yeah, I would definitely just say continue to, perfecting your technique. Obviously, as, since with this being the first game, a lot of the other teams don't necessarily have film on them. Yeah. So they just, got to be aware that other teams are going to be, keying in on tendencies and so forth. So definitely just continue to be in the film room. Obviously, they're doing the right things in the weight room, on the practice field. But again, at this point, the biggest thing, just film. Film is, and that's something I learned, I would say middle part of my career, how important film is. It gives you such an advantage. So definitely to the offensive line, just continuing, keying in on those film sessions.
And a final note here from Michael Lasker, junior offensive line alum here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Remembering Devontae McFarland, just what you'd like to say about Devontae overall, and maybe some words of advice and love to people out there that might be going through a tough time right now.
Yeah, no, it's just obviously it's just a tragic, instance with D-Mac. He was just a really good dude. I know when I came in as a transfer in 2013, him and George Morris, they were just two of the coolest guys. Just hang out with, kick it with, get acclimated with. And Devontae, he was just such an outgoing, good dude, and we were actually roommates my junior year. We were roommates a couple of times when we were at Fort Drum in the barracks, and always good conversations, and he truly cared about the game. Obviously, there's there are things and so forth that he had shared, personally, but obviously, just words of encouragement, just if anyone that's ever going through some things, definitely feel free to share. 9 times out of 10, a lot of other people are going through the same things, and there's always, outlets. I'm always open, for anyone to talk to. I've been there in those instances, and I have people to talk to. So definitely, again, just rest in peace, D-Mac. Again, tragic, instance and situation. We all love you, and rest easy, bro.
That coming from Michael Lasker, Jr., really the ingredients to success presented by Avicoli's, we typically do at the end of the Tuesday show, were just given to you by Michael Lasker Jr., which is if you're going through a problem, if you're going through an issue, if you're hurting, reach out, talk to people, look for positive outlets. I always tell people, go to the things that help to relax you. I walk, I cook, washing dishes, I shut my brain off, basketball, music, cooking. When I walk, it clears my mind. It helps me to get control of my mind. Music has been a huge help in my life. Calling up my mom, calling up my dad, calling those people you can trust and you can lean on, the people that give you good advice, the people that don't judge you. Don't be afraid to give a phone call and don't feel like, there's nobody out there that's willing to listen. God always sends his angels and, sends them when you ask, sends them even when you don't. So I would say, know that there's outlets, know that there's a place, know that, in the emergency situation, there's hotlines to call and there's people to get in touch with. So you are never alone. There are people going through stuff. We all have things that we've had to go through, and just don't ever feel like you're a burden to the people that love and care about you the most. And know that having you here going through problems is better than not having you here. And, it might sound crazy to people, but if you wake up today with a problem, be happy that you have a problem to have instead of waking up and 6 feet under, not waking up and being there. So it's always better to be alive and have something to complain about than it is to not be here. So reach out to people, talk to people, and just spread love, man. If you got any words to add to that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Again, like you said, just spreading love and, waking up, because everybody, just try to live life to the fullest. Try to always have a positive outcome, because unfortunately, bad things are just going to happen. It's a part of life. If you wake up with a flat tire, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world. It's not the worst news you can possibly get. So definitely, again, just always say, always express your love to your loved ones, your best friends, call them, check in on them. And I'm not the best at doing that, but just know all my, friends, family, alumni, I definitely, I'm always thinking about you. So definitely just, again, checking in with your loved ones, because again, it's unfortunate because everyone's mortal, and you never know when that last day is going to be. So again, just living your life up to the fullest.
That coming from Michael Lasker Jr. here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Michael, as always, I thank you for your time. I look forward to having you back here very soon, and I appreciate, the faith that you have, the connection that you have to God, the connection that we have, and the friendship that we built. And I thank you so very much, more than anything else, for being in my corner, always being positive, and always being a phone call away. So thank you for answering, thank you for being there, and thank you for being a friend.
Absolutely, no worries. And same to you, Dan. Again, it's always a pleasure being on the show, talking ball, talking about just life. And again, I hope to be back soon.
Yeah, you'll be back here very soon, man. So be good and stay safe, and God bless, okay?
You as well. God bless. Thank you.
Take care. That coming from Michael Lasker, giving you the ingredients to success and honoring Devontae McFarland here on Wake Up Call, presented by Avicoli's on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York. Open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. Always drink responsibly. And you can call them for takeout, delivery, and catering at 315-622-5100, giving you those ingredients to success of knowing you're never alone. We'll take a step aside here to finish up Hour 1. Right after this, we'll wrap it up and get you ready for our Brian and Stratton Hour 2 specials back-to-back here on Wake Up Call. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student-athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavocollis.com. That's myAVICOLLIS.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout central and upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be, from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsicuse, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5 Camillus.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal Studios. Want to thank you for being a part of hour number one as we were Q'd out celebrating with Charley Loeb and Michael Lasker Jr. on a big-time Syracuse victory with a lot of positives to have in those penalties to shore up. But besides that, a lot of great things for Syracuse. 4 for 4 in the red zone, as well as no turnovers. The defense forcing 3 turnovers, 3 straight turnovers, almost a fourth as they forced Malik Cunningham to fumble twice. Spin move by Michael Jones, a linebacker, and to take down Malik Cunningham on that last fumble that was forced. So big time ups to them and congratulations. As we get set here for what's coming up in hour number 2, 2 Brian and Stratton specials back-to-back, Bobcat Buzz exclusives. Thank you for tuning in Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, youtube.com, facebook.com, and mixlr.com, all /wakeupcalldt, facebook.com /livenowdt, and on wakeupcalldt.com. After that, Amazon Music, Audible, iHeart, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Podvine, TuneIn, and YouTube. Search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Thank you to our Central New York and Upstate partners and beyond, and to everybody you heard today in our Fast Breaks, and of course to being the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of the Lemoyne College Dolphins. Go to LeMoyneDolphins.com for more information. The Marywood Pacers, go to MarywoodPacers.com for more information. And the Bryan and Stratton Bobcats, go to Syracuse.bscbobcats.com for more information. Thank you to every single one of you. Thank you to Charley Loeb, Michael Lasker Jr. Go watch my specials now that are up with the Bobcats. National championship teams for women's soccer first, and men's soccer coming up at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com and facebook.com, both /wakeupcalldt. Thank you to Avicolis for the ingredients to success. Head over there today. Facebook at